Revelations inside the Mueller report do not paint a very flattering picture of the Trump administration. Anecdotes about low morale inside the White House have been surfacing since the president took office. In fact, one anonymous source going public last summer with an inside account of what it's like to work for the president. Robert Mueller's report has confirmed many of these stories. And joining me now is a woman who's had firsthand experience working for the president. Barbara Ress is former executive vice president of the Trump Organization, and she wrote a book, All Alone on the 68th Floor, How One Woman Changed the Face of Construction, which is in part about her time there. Barbara, with a welcome to you. You know this president very well. Yes. Tell me what you think in the Mueller report would really be getting under his skin.
You know, I thought about that, and I was talking to Craig Melvin yesterday about that, too. My instinct was that what would bother him most is the fact that he admitted that he was effed. Because I've never heard him say that. I've heard him say, we're effed, and that his presidency was over. I don't think he would want people to know that he said that.
Interesting. One of the most common threads in Mueller's report is how often the president asked his aides to carry out something uncomfortable for them, potentially. Listen, potentially illegal as well, some of these tasks that he asked of them. Did that surprise you? Your experience with him, is that unique to the White House, or is that something that you think is part of his MO?
I think that he has evolved over time, but it's quite familiar to me, to be honest with you. Him asking people to do things that they didn't think they should do, or, you know, not so much illegal stuff. There might have been a little bit of illegal stuff, but not like this. But, you know, things like get rid of this architect, or do this kind of thing, or don't pay this guy, or whatever, you know, that kind of thing that you know, people didn't want to do. It was wrong, and they didn't want to do it. Back then, we got away with not doing things. I mean, you know,
How?
Well, there were three. When he told you to do something you knew was wrong, there were a couple of things you could do. The first thing would be to try to talk him out of it. And that didn't generally work. So the best thing to do always was to make him think that the right thing to do was his idea, so sort of move him into the right thing. And then the last thing was just not to do it and put up with the consequences. And once in a while we did do what he said, knowing that, you know, we'll do damage control down the road.
So how impetuous of a man is he? I mean, does he think through things and then say what he believes, or direct his employees or those in his administration to do his bidding?
I would say if it's something that he just heard and he reacts to it, he's extremely impetuous. He wants to do it, and he wants to do it now. I heard
damn the consequences.
Yeah,
he doesn't think down the road of...
He doesn't think there'll be consequences because he truly believes that decision he makes is the right one. He thinks that he knows everything. So if he says to do something, it's got to be the right thing to do.
So if you prove to him that he didn't know everything, or that he, in a certain case, was wrong, how does that go over?
Not well. Not well.
Like what?
You don't want to tell him he was wrong. You never want. You know, there are times he knows he's wrong, and there are times when.
Does he admit it?
My experience, no, he doesn't. Well, we had an argument once, and he actually admitted something to me, and I admitted something to him. We had sort of crossed the line with each other arguing, but I've never heard him say that, you know, he was wrong. But he'll say this is better or something like that.
How concerned are you that those people who prevented the president, according to the Mueller report, from actually having the kind of criminal charges against him for obstruction of justice? I mean, there were people who did not do his bidding because those things he was asking them to do were potentially illegal.
Yes.
How concerned are you that a lot of those people aren't around him right now?
Well, you know, some of them are not there because they didn't do what he said, and others are just not there because, like Lewandowski, he was gone right in the beginning, and then he crawled back and, you know, became another sycophant. I was surprised, to be honest with you, that he had the courage not to do what Trump told him to do.
Can I just ask you lastly, and I should say we mentioned this in the makeup room, how did you feel when you learned that the man you previously had worked for was elected president of the United States?
I was devastated, to be honest with you. I mean, I just thought it was the worst thing that could happen for our country, and I think I was right.
Why?
He totally isn't qualified. He came not out of nowhere. We knew who he was, but in terms of politically, he came out of nowhere. He was never a governor, a mayor, or anything like that. To be honest with you, the way he acts, he didn't even take civics.
So you're saying that he's not qualified for political reasons. Does that mean he's qualified to run Trump Inc.?
you know, it's an interesting thing because there are pluses and minuses with the company. I mean, it's not all that successful, to be honest with you. There were lots of bankruptcies and things like that. And he also got lucky with a lot of things. And he's got a lot of partners. And you know, when you really look close to it, he's no genius businessman. I mean, he did do good things. Trump Tower was a great thing. The work we did on the highway, but not, you know, and maybe some buildings, but not so much anymore. But he's got that licensing thing, and that was genius.
Barbara Ress, great to talk with you. Thank you so much for your insights.
My pleasure.